Let's get it on.
How's it going, everybody? Bryan Alvarez here on Wrestling Observer Live. We are here every day, Monday through Friday, noon Pacific 3 Eastern, Sundays 3 Pacific 6 Eastern, Saturday mornings with Jim Valley, 10 a.m. Pacific 1 Eastern, Sundays with Andrew Zarian. And it is Friday here on the show, and you know what that means? We got a lot to talk about here today. SmackDown is tonight. We got a number of matches, Elimination Chamber qualifiers set up for the show coming up here tonight. Of course, tomorrow is AEW Collision, and the show is taped, but we do have a lineup for the show. Last night was the TNA show on AMC. Watch that show. We'll review it here today. It is significantly better. I think we're going to be saying this from now until the end of time. Significantly better than the AMC debut. We have yet to see a show even remotely as terrible as that first show. A lot of fun stuff on the show last night. We'll talk about that and a bunch of other news. I want to open the show today by wishing the best to WWE referee Daphne LaShawn. She posted on Instagram a house fire on February 4th. Claimed the lives of her grandfather, her grandmother, her uncle, and her cousin. The family has since launched a GoFundMe seeking $50,000 to assist with funeral expenses as well as clothing, school supplies, and other necessities for children affected by the fire. So the GoFundMe, I'm going to put up on my Twitter here in just a moment. But they're looking for clothing, shoes, toiletries, emergency housing, temporary living assistance, food, school supplies, basic necessities. They got all the information on the kids' sizes. And $50,000 is what they're looking for. And certainly, hopefully, they can raise a lot more than that. But all the best to Daphne LaShawn, her family, her friends. It's a terrible story. And we'll get the link up on my X when we come back from the break. If you want to text us here today, 425-780-7566. That is 425-780-7566. F4WOnline@gmail.com. F4W Online, Threads, Instagram, and Cameo. At Bryan Alvarez, X, and Blue Sky. Back in a moment with Lance, Observer Live. Back in the show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Lance Storm is joining us here today. There's so much stuff going on. The fundraiser that I talked about before the break is up on my Twitter right now, at Bryan Alvarez. Referee Daphne LaShawn's family. There was a house fire, and her grandfather, grandmother, uncle, and cousin all passed away in the fire. And the GoFundMe is actually currently at $83,293, so they blew past the $50,000. And if you have anything you can throw in there, obviously it would be appreciated by the family and friends. So all the best to everybody involved. Horrible story. And I guess all the info is up there if you want to head up there and check it out. Very, very sad. Lance, we have a lot to get into here today. A lot of wrestling news. There's a million things going on. I think you're probably going to be leaving in the final segment as we run down the Impact show, but we have so much news. I guess we'll have to see how much of Impact I can even get to here today, because there's a lot of stuff going on. First off, SmackDown is tonight. We got a Elimination Chamber qualifier. Lash legend Tiffany Stratton and Chelsea Green. And for the men, it's Randy Orton, Aleister Black, Solo Sikoa. We also have Rhea and Io versus Julia and Kiana for the women's tag team titles. Liv Morgan will appear. She has not chosen who she's going to face at WrestleMania. And Shinsuke Nakamura versus Tama Tonga. The Observer this week talked about the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania and noted that at one point, the person scheduled to win the Royal Rumble and headline WrestleMania was actually Bron Breakker. Bron Breakker was scheduled to win the Rumble and face and beat CM Punk for the title at Mania, which is why on the Netflix debut, they did that first match, and CM Punk beat Breakker. And if you recall, when that match took place, myself and probably everybody with a brain said, well, I think what probably will happen is Braun's going to end up facing Punk at WrestleMania and winning the title. So what happened is that once Seth Rollins got injured, they decided to shuffle everything up. And they were originally going to do Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns. And, of course, they've done 2 Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns singles matches and 1 tag over, like, the past 3 years. This would be the 4th WrestleMania main event involving these 2 in 4 years. And also, myself and many other people thought, do we really need to see that match for the 4th time in 3 years? And to their credit, Triple H apparently thought the same thing. And so that match is no longer taking place. Obviously, now it is CM Punk versus Roman Reigns. And it is most likely going to be Drew McIntyre and Cody Rhodes for the other title. So Bron Breakker has gone from winning the Rumble and headlining WrestleMania to win the title to being eliminated pretty much number 2, and I don't know what he's going to do at WrestleMania.
What's the timeline on your prediction of Bron Breakker main eventing WrestleMania?
I'm pretty sure it's past.
It's past? It would be great if this would have been the year.
Everyone else's fault. That's the problem.
Would have been great if this was the year and you just got screwed as much as Bron Breakker did.
Well, my guess is that what is going to happen is Braun is going to win the title from Roman Reigns, either at next year's WrestleMania or maybe even SummerSlam or something like that. And I guess we'll see where everything goes, but Cody Rhodes, the most likely expected winner of the men's chamber, to then face Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania. So that's the update. We'll find out more as the build towards the Rumble continues on. This story, and there's a lot of stuff going on. Are you aware that your parent company, Anthem Entertainment, has filed a lawsuit against Gail Kim?
I am. I read about it to try to figure out what the heck was going on, and it's a little confusing.
So, as first reported by PW Insider, confirmed through documents publicly available from the Nashville Chancery Court, Anthem filed suit against Gail Kim on January 10th. According to PW Insider's report, the lawsuit stems from Kim informing Anthem, after she was released from the company, that she believes she has legal claims against them for violations of the Florida Private Whistleblower Act. Anthem has gone to Tennessee court, seeking a ruling that the dispute should be governed by Tennessee law rather than Florida law, and to declare that Kim was an independent contractor throughout her time working for the company. That could get interesting. Anthem is also asking the court to rule that Kim may not bring claims against the company under Florida statutes, including the Florida Private Whistleblower Act referenced above, as well as the Florida Civil Rights Act, etc., etc. Court documents show Kim was served on January 12th at an address in Florida. And honestly, what this all entails, I have no idea. I have no idea.
It's confusing because I don't recall any whistle blowing that was done. And while you said the independent contractor thing could get interesting, it's like TNA of all places, we are very much independent contractors in that we have very limited limitations on where else we can work. You know, TNA gets priority on dates, but other than that, I believe pretty much everybody is free to take independent bookings. So it's interesting. I don't know what the original whistleblowing was.
Well, that's the weird thing. We now have a response, but we don't have any information about what they're responding to. So I don't know what she is claiming, but they're stating that it's just weird.
Yeah,
so,
it seems to be
there seems to be
ahead.
more to come in this story. Yeah, we've jumped past the initial accusation just to the response. So something involving whistleblowing and civil rights. So whatever that is, I don't know. But that is the update there. Kota Ibushi is out of the hospital. He underwent a second surgery to assist with the broken femur he suffered in October. A screw came loose. That's exactly how it was described, but has now been firmly secured. He was originally supposed to be in the hospital for 2 weeks, but is able to get out in just 3 days. He said a major screw came loose. The first time 2 spots are firmly secured. Complete rest, I was told several times, Mr. Ibushi, complete rest. But he says, I'll do things my way.
Oh, jeez.
I'm
Maybe listen to
grateful.
doctors.
Maybe a screw wouldn't have come loose. I'm grateful, truly grateful, that I'm allowed freedom in my rehab. Thank you for the surgery. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, AEW. So, yeah. I'm never confident when a wrestler says, "No, doctor, I'm going to do things my way." But that's what he said. So, all the best to Kota Ibushi. So, 2 months to go before WrestleMania 42. It appears John Cena will not be part of this year's Hall of Fame class. It looks like Stephanie's got to get top billing.
Well, I think it's also smart to save him. Let the absence make the heart grow fonder for a little bit longer.
So he's going to go in Saudi?
Well, he could go the year after that if he wanted to.
Come on, people will forget about the guy by then.
Oh, yeah, they'll
Let's
never
get
mention
this
him
over
again.
with quick. So anyway, it looks like he's not going in this year. But yes, maybe next year. It says here that, according to Dave, might be the landing spot for the eventual induction next year's Saudi Arabia, Riyadh.
I'm sure he's in the same
WrestleMania.
boat as The Rock, that when his schedule allows and when he would like to go in, he'll go in.
Big E considers himself retired from the ring. People have been asking, and he finally just said, "I'm content." In wrestling, they always say never, but right now, I am retired, and that for me is it. So I'm focused on other things right now. So he talked about how life has been good, and he's doing other roles in broadcasting, something he was not on his radar when his career was wrapping up, but he's very much enjoying it. All the best to Big E. Let's keep him safe. Back in a moment with more Observer Live. The show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Lance Storm joining us here today. I got a bone to pick with your company in a minute, Lance. But
Okay.
I'll get to that in a minute. I don't do a lot of ratings discussion unless there's something actually interesting. Like when Nielsen changed everything around and now wrestling shows are doing better. That's interesting. And this is kind of interesting. The Tuesday NXT did 629,000 viewers in a .08. So the viewership was down 7%, and the 18 to 49 was exactly the same. Now, normally this wouldn't be a story at all, but, dude, they promoted for 3 weeks that a brand new NXT champion they promised you a brand new NXT champion in a ladder match on this show. There was all the discussion about Ava. You know, Ava's gone. What's going to happen? How are they going to explain it? Like, I was more interested in this NXT show than any show in a long time. And it actually went down.
Ava's a draw, dude.
But, I mean, then we should at least, it should be an interesting thing, like where she's at. Like, let's say who's a draw in WWE? Roman Reigns? Let's say we found out let's say Roman Reigns was going to headline WrestleMania. And 3 weeks before WrestleMania, we find out he quit. And it's like, oh my God, he quit? You know, everyone would be talking about it. And then it'd be like, well, how are they going to explain this? WrestleMania's in 3 weeks. Like, what are they going to do? This would be like the following week's Raw or SmackDown or whatever going down after that happened. It's inconceivable. So anyway, that was weird, dude. Like, people didn't care about Ava. They didn't care about that title. I mean, the show sucked of late, but you'd think something would have helped. And it was better this Tuesday, if we're being fair. We have a sitting U.S. Senator. Ruben Gallego, a Democratic senator from Arizona, actually went on Twitter and wrote, "Tony Khan, it's time for AEW to solidify a huge fan base. Bad Bunny, love wrestling, need him to make some appearances. Just no stretcher match." What? There was nothing else going on in Arizona? He's tweeting for Tony Khan to bring in Bad Bunny?
And is apparently unaware that Bad Bunny has wrestled quite a bit.
And Bad Bunny is, he's going to end up back in WWE very soon. Sooner rather than later, everybody. Just so y'all know. Ric Flair also, and I was. There's so much stunning news today. Ric Flair did an interview where he was He was doing a virtual signing for K&S WrestleFest on Thursday, and he mentioned that somebody was wanting him to return to the ring for one more match against Ricky Morton. And he didn't say who, but he did say that they were, quote, way off on financial terms. And later he tweeted, as only Ric Flair can, he capitalized every word randomly. It wasn't randomly. It was every word. First, let me clear something up. I will never wrestle again. And then he went on to do some promotions. So,
well, that's probably for the best.
I mean, it is, but, Flair, like 25 years ago, did that promo saying, I will never retire. And then he had his retirement match, and it frickin' sucked. And this is no joke, everybody.
He died twice.
Well, you say that as a joke, but like if I recall correctly, he had some serious health issues, and when they were like checking him out, they were like, you've had a heart attack, and he was unaware of this. Apparently, he'd had a heart attack that he didn't know about, and it is believed that it probably was in his last match when he basically died, and the match was hideous. And when it was over, he was like, well, I didn't eat, I didn't drink, I drank too much. And he was talking about trying to do it again. So thankfully, apparently that's now off the table. But
yeah, I saw a screen grab of him mentioning it and Charlotte chiming in saying, no, never.
Yeah.
Probably best.
Well, there's some other news, but I want to make sure we have time for this. Lance, you don't have to comment too much if you don't want to. I don't want you to get in trouble. But maybe you have something. Maybe you'll just say, you know what, Bryan? You're right.
I've never said that ever in my life.
Yes, you have. Rarely, but you have. I hate Feast or Fired. Okay? Now, I will say I hate the way it's currently done, but I think that there's a way to do it where I wouldn't hate it, okay? So listen. In storyline, every year, they put a bunch of people into the ring.
I don't think we do it every year.
Well, whatever. It feels like every year. But it's done regularly. This isn't the first one. You put a bunch of TNA stars in the ring, and there's a bunch of briefcases. 3 of them have title shots, and 1 of them has a pink slip. Okay? Lance, if this were real, why would you put a bunch of TNA stars in a match where at random one of them is going to get that briefcase and you're going to be forced to fire them? Like, as a company, whoever's in charge, Santino, whoever, why would you do this? It's like, it doesn't make any sense. Now, Steve Maclin, as we'll get to later, he got the briefcase and got fired. Steve Maclin, I was there when he became the first ever TNA International Champion. He was a big star. He was a multi-time champion. I'm supposed to believe that Santino thought, I'm going to throw this multi-time champion, war hero, whatever, in the ring, and I hope he don't get that pink slip, but he might. And then he gets it, and they have to fire the guy.
Have you followed Santino's career at all?
Well, the point is, Lance, this happened before Santino as well. I think a match like this, I think this could actually be a really good match. The way it's done right now, I just think it's like, I think it's dumb. Like, what if, I don't know who could end up in the match, but what if, whoever, Santana ended up in the match and he got a pink slip. And in theory, now he's going to get fired. He's going to go right to WWE, okay? I don't want you guys to do rankings so much, okay? But I think it should be maybe once a year. All right, instead of like 20 people, it's like at the end of the year, here's 4 guys, 5 guys, 6 guys, and they've all had a bad year. They've lost, they've failed, and it's like, if this were real, they'd probably maybe be on the cutting block. And those guys are in there. And when you do it that way, it's like, okay, well, whoever gets a championship match, like, they probably wouldn't have gotten a championship match under any circumstances, but you know what? By the luck of the draw, they're going for that world title. Probably going to lose, but it's something new. And you know what? If somebody gets cut, at least it was somebody that probably was already on the chopping block anyway. And I feel like you could book it in a special way where, like, you know, look at how NXT screwed up Javon. It's like, guy was there for 18 months. He was super over. He never won anything. Every time he had a big match, he failed, okay? Well, if this was part of his storyline, where after a year of trying and failing, getting beat, it's like, you know what? You're in feast or fire this year, brother. You're on the chopping block, but now this is your last chance. And he gets the briefcase with the world title. And, like, everybody knows he's great, but, like, he's been screwed here. This guy screwed him there. Well, he got that briefcase, and he goes on and he wins the world title. That's, like, a cool story. But I just feel like, you know, every now and then at random, you take a bunch of... It's like a battle royal. There's like 20 people. So they're not all losers. There's like a lot of good wrestlers in Feast or Fired. And for some reason, one person, as an owner, you're forced to fire that person. Even if you like them and you had plans for them, and they're like a great wrestler, and you don't want them going to AEW. So that's my thoughts on Feast or Fired.
Yeah, my cyborg brain agrees with you in that regard, but I think... I don't know if unfortunately, sorry, I think the wrestling world has accepted the concept and likes it now because there's stakes. It's much like, why would you use a random draw Royal Rumble to determine who is in the biggest title match of the entire year? Like, it really doesn't make sense, but it works and it draws.
Sure.
And I think Feast or Fired, obviously not as big of a draw as the Royal Rumble, but I think it does work and people accept it and they find it intriguing, so we do it. But if you actually look at the logic behind it, you run into the similar logic problems you have with, why is a random draw, throw someone over the top rope, the means by which you determine the most important match of the entire year.
Yeah, that's true. But the thing with the Royal Rumble is the first guy thrown out isn't fired. You know what I'm saying? Like, the fired part is the part that I don't like that part, because it doesn't make sense as a business. It's like if, like, everybody here at Observer, you know, it's like, okay, we're going to do we're going to play a game of whatever, Go Fish, and the winner's fired, or the loser's fired. You know, it's like, I don't want Lance fired, but I'm putting in this match because it draws. It's like,
if winning was enough of a prize, I'd gamble that.
But the point is, I wouldn't put you in that match. Why would I put you in that position? That's what I don't like about it.
Yes, on a logic standpoint, there is the side of, if it was, say, 6 or 8 people that could be getting the, we know we clean house post-WrestleMania.
Yes.
There's a lot of people going to get let go anyway. And by grabbing a case, you got a title shot. And if you win big, you stay.
Well, we'll talk about this a little more after the break, and then we'll let Lance go and talk Impact. Back in a moment, Observer Live. Oh, Lance! The other thing, if you use losers, so to speak, is that then it makes sense that you even try to get a briefcase. Because if you have, for example, like Steve Macklin's a great example. Steve Macklin's he's won multiple titles in TNA.
Including the world title.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, well, you're in this match. You're going to take a risk to get a briefcase for a title shot? You're Steve Macklin, dude. You're going to get a title shot in 2026 one way or the other. I mean, it's not like your chances of getting a title match are 0. Why would you even take the risk? But if you are a loser, if, for example, it's Feast or Fired, here's the 6 guys with the worst records of the year, and none of them have also ever gotten a title shot. Not once. They've never been in contention for a title. Well, now there's incentive. You know what? I might get cut anyway.
Yes, but it would be far less of a draw in that case, and I think fans like it. I will not argue the logic behind it, but I think with stars being in it, fans are intrigued.
How about if he called it Feast or Find? The loser has to give him all. And
I don't think fans would care if there was a fake fine attached.
Feast or Effed. You're like just in really big trouble. No?
No.
There's got to be some way to avoid this firing thing. One last thing here. Kelly Kincaid departing WWE later this month. She announced as of Valentine's Day, she will no longer be under contract with WWE. And I don't want to speculate here, okay? Even though it sounds like I am. But I heard about Ava, and what I was told is that one of the reasons that she did not renew her contract is it was very similar to what happened with Jasmine Nix, in that she was making X amount of money. She'd been there for a long time, and they weren't offering her like a big raise. And she didn't want to keep doing it for the money she was making. And it could possibly be the same thing with Kelly Kincaid. I mean, this has happened in NXT with people who, they want to make, I mean, if anything, you want to at least get something of a raise. You've been there for a long time and you've done the work. And, Jasmine Nix, she was offered a raise, but not much. And she was like, I'm out of here. I can make more somewhere else. So Ava, I'm sure it was more than just she wasn't given a substantial raise or offered a substantial raise. I'm sure she had some other issues probably as well.
But I think Jasmine, too, mentioned a lot of injuries.
Well,
and
yeah.
If the job isn't rewarding enough and the pay isn't rewarding enough for the downsides that you view in it, then by all means, you're free to go find something that makes you happy.
All right, Lance. Well, I'm going to review this TNA show. If you want to sit around and listen, you can. But I'd bet
rant
you'll probably.
more.
No, actually, I like the show. I don't think there was anything. Actually, I should keep you on for all the things that I'm angry about, which is what you don't want to be on for. But I will say one thing before you go, Lance.
Sure.
Will you tell Tommy to do something with Jada Stone? God, dude. They did Drifter and Jada Stone versus Ali and Tasha Steelz, okay?
How was that match not doing something with Jada Stone?
Because I watched it. Listen, part of it, Lance, I'll be fair. I got PTSD from Javon, okay? I watched this match, and Jada, she's obviously not like...
This is one of her first appearances on the main show, and she looked like $1 million.
Dude, she looked incredible.
Yes.
And like... The fans
doing something with her.
The fans are going crazy for her. And, like, everything she does looks great. She's so athletic. And, like, these fans are dying for, like, she's going to do it. And then they beat her. I was like, I watched this for 18 months. I can't take it anymore.
Ali pile driver.
I can't take it anymore,
She'll survive,
Lance.
dude.
I can't take it.
This is like her first major appearance on television. And she looked phenomenal.
I'll give it the okay for now, but if I'm watching in 18 months and they're still doing this, I'm going to flip
All right,
out.
Complain then.
Yes, but golly, she is really, really talented. Holy smokes. And she is tiny. She looks smaller than Zelina. How tall is she?
I don't know, but she's not a large woman. But this was her first showcase, and she looked awesome. So
she did look awesome. That was why I was angry. Then they beat her. Stop beating people. I don't want to see anyone beaten ever again. That's what I've decided.
We can't beat anyone?
Nope, I'm done. I'm done with this beating people thing.
We're just going to do time limit draws now
if
forever?
they're liked, I want everyone to win.
Jesus.
It doesn't have to be forever. Just give us like a month of like, everyone who's over wins for like a month. Then we can go back to making all these fans miserable again. Just 1 month. That's all I ask. All right. You want to go?
Yeah, have a good weekend.
All right, get out of here. Goodbye. Bye. All right. The show opened up with Trey Miguel and Adam Brooks, and this is a good match. Adam Brooks is he's worked all over the place. He's an Australian worker, and he's done some Ring of Honor, and I think he was just in the Battle Riot. And he faced Trey Miguel. They had a very good match. They gave Brooks a lot, and finally, in the end, Trey hit a reverse Rana, his lightning spiral for the pin. And I don't think Adam Brooks is signed anywhere, so hopefully they do more with him because he looked really good here. And then Stax showed up, and he lays out Trey with the belt, and Ariana acts like she's very upset with him. We had The Righteous versus Tommy Two Scoops and TW3. Do I need to tell you anything else? The fans did not care about the Righteous one bit. All they wanted to do was chant for 2 scoops. And they chanted, "Scoops, scoops, scoops." And, of course, his team lost quickly. It was a squash. And then afterwards, Vincent cut a promo. And he's trying to talk about how he wants to team with the Hardys. But the fans are just giving him the what treatment. They're not paying any attention. And then they cut backstage. And the Hardys are addressing this promo. And both of them are like, I have no idea what this guy's talking about. And then Jeff Hardy goes, I think he wants us to form one of those things in wrestling. What's it called? Like a group? And Matt goes, faction! Jeff goes, oh yeah, faction. He didn't know what a faction was. And so, anyway, they get attacked by the system and laid out. We had a Kazarian promo, and he started burying fans, even children. He's running down everybody, talking about how he worked with a surgically repaired right hand, and how he defended the title with a surgically repaired right hand. He said Santana can claim to be a champ, but he beat a one-armed man, vowed to be champion again. And that's what led to Drifter and Jada Stone versus Ali and Tasha Steelz. So yeah, as I mentioned with Lance, this Jada is like, holy smokes. She's very, very small, but she's really athletic, and like the crowd absolutely loves her. She connects to the crowd great. They made her look like $1 million. And then, yes, Tasha hits the ring. Jada hits the double knees. Heels take the ref. Ali gives Jada a tombstone. Throws Tasha Steelz on top, and she gets the pin. So I'll give it time, but my tolerance is low after the last 18 months with Javon for just beating everybody who's over repeatedly. Ariana met with Santino. She goes, Santino, Stax, and I got in a fight again. I'm very sad. NXT never gives me opportunities. Dad, she says, I don't think I'll ever be half as good as you. And he says, you'll be a better superstar than I've ever been. She goes, I don't know about that. Dad, I want a title match. Not because I'm your daughter, but because I want to prove I can do it by myself. He goes, that's not going to look fair. She goes, I know. But you know what? It would make up for missing my Sweet 16 when you had that house show loop in Australia. That was horrible. And he's stricken. And he goes, I'll get it done. This dude's getting worked. Daria is yelling at Santino for all of this. She says she's going to the board of directors. Steve Macklin is in the building. He lost Feast or Fired. And he's saying goodbye to everybody. And he ends up leaving. And he's about to go out the door. He runs into Santana. And Santana says, you were the first person to welcome me back. Going toe-to-toe with you made me realize I had what it took to be in this locker room. Every day since then, I've built an unbreakable bond. We have. And I want to thank you for what you've done to this place. Thank you for being so selfless. And they hugged, and Santana says, see you down the road. By the way, prior to this, Macklin had cut this incredible promo. He's crying. He's so sad he's been fired in this unfair match. And he goes to leave, but then he returns and he beats the hell out of Santana. And security separates them. They drag Macklin out of the building as he's screaming that he's been too selfless. So it sounds like this guy ain't going to be fired. Santana's going to demand he be rehired so he can beat him up. The old school angle. We had Rachel Leigh and Tessa Blanchard, which, of course, Tessa won quickly. We had a wacky, I'm talking wacky, Ryan Nemeth video with Mara Sade at a stadium. He wants to prove he's a better athlete, so they do the old Mr. Perfect. She throws a football and then sprints down the field and catches it. They're playing horse, and she beats him and then ends up super kicking him, and the ball flies, and it's her trick shot win. It was very wacky, but it was fun. BDE read into Eric Young. Eric Young basically tries to recruit him, tells him he's going to give him the opportunity of a lifetime. BDE is not interested. Young flips out. He says, next week, you're going to give me your answer, and it better be the right one. Indy Hartwell, Lei Ying Lee, and Xia Brookside against Elegance Brand. This was Ash's first match back since she took her medical leave. And, of course, everybody interfered. There was Mr. Elegance. There was a concierge trying to throw glitter. He got it in Mr. Elegance's eyes. It was impossibly goofy by design. And then Xia rolled up Heather and pinned her. So it looks like they will be getting a tag team title shot. And then, of course, you know how it goes. Heels attacked the baby faces and laid them out. If there's one thing everybody likes in this business lately, it's heat. There's a lot of heat. Then Santana came out for a promo. And he basically cuts a promo on Macklin. Tells him, next time you better stab me in the chest. The System hits the ring. They attack him. Eddie's about to hit him with the belt when the Hardys run down to make the save. They get jumped by the System. And then who should make his return as a babyface? But former System member Moose. And he helps clear the ring. And it ends up with everybody outside. Moose is in the ring. Bear Bronson tries to attack him. Moose grabs this guy, and he lifts him up with ease into powerbomb position, throws him over the top rope on everybody on the floor. And believe it or not, a babyface stood tall to end this show. And on top of that, the match of the century is coming. Bear versus Moose. Coming to a TNA Impact or pay-per-view near you. Overall, pretty good show. I've liked this show a lot over the last several weeks. Once we got through the AMC debut, you know, it's a very easy 2 hours. You know, they got some talented people. If you're a fan of like Goofy, I mean, there is Goofy on this show that you won't get even in WWE. Like the stuff with the Elegance brand and the stuff with Ryan Nemeth, and I mean, you'll get a little everything on TNA. So check it out. And we'll be back in a moment to wrap it up. Wrestling Observer Live. Starting the show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Want to mention quickly, Mercedes Moné is set to defend one of her titles in Winnipeg the night before AEW presents Dynamite in the same city. She will defend her Winnipeg Pro Wrestling Women's title at WPW Fight at the Museum, scheduled for March 31st at the Manitoba Museum. AEW is in Winnipeg the following night, April 1st, for Dynamite at the Canada Life Center. So she's back and defending belts. We'll see where this goes from here. Also, if you are going to Las Vegas for WrestleMania, you should attend the F4W Observer Convention. It will be over WrestleMania weekend. We got live podcasts, Q&As. We have got meet and greets. We have got suite parties. We have got watch parties. We've got a dinner at Texas Day, Brazil. All sorts of great stuff. And the tickets are available now. Some of them will sell out, so I would recommend going up and grabbing it if you're going. F4WOnline.com/Vegas is the address. That is F4WOnline.com/Vegas. Don't you dare miss it, as they say, because it's going to be a lot of fun. So we're going to wrap it up from here. I'll be back later on this weekend with Vinny. We'll talk SmackDown tonight, as well as AEW Collision. I'll be back this weekend with Dave as well. A lot of big shows coming up. Enjoy the Super Bowl if you're one of those people that watches, football or whatever. And that's it. So thanks very much, everybody. We'll talk to you next time. Wrestling Observer Live.